I see more BMWs and Benzes outside every day. Where does it start? How does it finish? How is it shipped? But for development and design, the infrastructure here is in a whole different league. China is still the best place in the world to mass produce a high quality product because the infrastructure here is in a whole different league. It's a fact that there's great engineers all over the world, that there's incredible factories all over the world. I'm not saying that it is impossible to make high quality products in other places. Get the record straight, right? That is not what I'm saying. I am, however, saying that in general, the infrastructure here is more powerful than in any other country in the world when it comes to mass manufacturing products. The number one reason for that, to me, it's infrastructure, and that's decades and decades of work, of processes being built, of systems being created, of manufacturing machinery and building factories. That's the number one important thing. The second most important, and arguably the biggest difference maker, is the concentration of engineers in the southeast of China. First, their salary is way lower. You know, at the end of the day, what do you call an engineer who graduates with an engineering degree? An engineer, right? You say that with doctors, you say it with lawyers. It's true of engineers too. And when you have such massive number of engineers, you're bound to have some incredible ones as well. But the concentration and the low cost of the work here allows for things to be created and developed and designed at such a high pace that all that's really missing in this country, and that's changing too, is the creative step, right? So when you plug in the West creative into this monster here in China, you have something that truly can't be stopped, right? People are talking about how China's slowing down. Okay, where, right? Because CNN prints the news. Where are they slowing down? I see more BMWs and Benzes outside every day, right? The ability for this country to maintain that number one spot is not going to be replaced anytime soon. Certainly, it's not going to be by the West. There are other countries in Asia, Southeast Asia specifically, they're really upping and doubling down on manufacturing. The costs are low, but the infrastructures aren't there and the engineers aren't there. What you're seeing right now is a lot of the times products will be developed here. Molds and toolings will be manufactured here. They'll ship those toolings to those countries where they can then manufacture them at a lower cost. But for development and design, it's here, and it will be here, in my opinion, for at least 5 to 10 more years, minimum. Once you have a product developed, it's so much easier to just continue the manufacturing process with the people that you develop the product with, right? They understand the ins and outs. They know where the problems are going to be and what hiccups are going to happen. They know how to avoid those things, right? What you need in place for mass production, obviously, I've become a little jaded and I'm a little spoiled by having a great team here to help me manufacture all the products we have. But most people don't have that, right? So I'm trying to give you the sauce. I can't give you my team, but I'll try to give you, the best things to do. I just talked about this in another video, and that is to start small and scale aggressively. Design and develop your product perfectly. Make sure that every single millimeter of that product is defined elaborately, right? Over detail that process. People here will respect you for that. It might be annoying, but they'll respect you. And then when you get to mass manufacturing, it's already done. Right? You're not trying to solve problems because those problems have already been solved by perfect product development. And if you do that and you maintain that as a priority, you can really hone in and take advantage of the great infrastructure that's been set up here. So what is the journey of the product, right? Where does it start? How does it finish? How is it shipped? The thing that I've come to learn about supply chain management in China is really that it's all kind of works together. There isn't really one factory that makes one product from start to finish. Now, there are exceptions, right? The Huawei, the cell phone company campus is huge, right? They have thousands upon thousands of employees. They make everything from start to finish, but they're a rarity, right? They're the exception, not the rule. They're making their own brand. They're not doing stuff for other people. I mean, obviously there's exceptions to that too. But for the most part, they're taking care of their own brand. Factories that make other brands do parts of the product. They do components. So the journey of your product will probably live in many different facilities. The difference and the importance to me is whether that process is centralized or decentralized, right? Are you the one that is in control of your product? Are you farming out your work to different component manufacturers? Or is the supplier you're working with centralized and controlling all of your product and shipping it out to whoever he deems is the best fit, right? That's problematic. Having one person oversee everything can lead to problems. It gives you less leverage, which is why we developed CCM, which we'll link to below, right? The component control method allows you to take control over your entire mass production process. It allows it to be decentralized and allows you to be in control of the product rather than having, all the power in one person's hand. Doing that and making note of how to develop the product properly will help you maintain that high quality while also mass producing large quantities of your product. Keep all that stuff in mind. The headlines will tell you that mass production is leaving China. But what they don't tell you is all of the problems that arise for the companies that are moving their supply chains out. There's a lot, right? The costs might be lower in other places, but what is the cost of moving? What is the time and the effort and the training and development of those processes? How much does that cost? Because it's not cheap. I'm obviously biased here since I live and work in China, but what do you think? Is China still number one for mass production? Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one. Peace.